Hi, I'm Caley, Orwin, and I sit on the marketing team at Athleta. I oversee social, so all of our social channels, our influencer programs, everything under the sun that you can imagine that comes with social. Think about your favorite Instagrammer, YouTuber. We work with digital creators to create content for us and amplify that content on their own channels. We're also very much involved in the marketing strategy for the brand and a lot of great brainstorms as we think about seasonal strategy and cool things that are coming up and just the way that brands behave today. Social is such the heartbeat and pulse of what the brand looks like, what they stand for, and it's been really fun being a part of that work. You know, when I think about little Caley in high school, I was hustling. I remember feeling like I was always striving for something and reaching for something that was just out of my grasp. And I think if I could go back, what I would tell myself is everything's going to work out. You know, it's actually a good thing probably to not peak in high school. I feel like college is where I really started to come into my own, living on my own, figuring out who I was as an adult. And that was such a special time. And there's so many memories that stand out and things that were formative during those years. I started out at a digital marketing agency. And I actually did, my first client that I supported was Intermix. So I did dabble a little bit in fashion back then, but then I jumped to beauty and I was there for a few years. And then I just came to a point where I really wanted to find a brand, a company, an industry that aligned with my own interests, my own values, and Athleta and Gap Inc. the stars just aligned between a brand with values and a mission that I believed in, product I believed in, and then also as I grew up in my 20s, just my own passion for style and personal style, I think, really developed. So all of those things came together and I was at a place in my career where I really wanted to find all of those things. And that's how I ended up in fashion and retail. It was a bit of a roundabout way, but I got here. It took a minute, and I'm glad it did. To be completely transparent, I felt overwhelmed, which I think a lot of graduating students feel. And my biggest tip would be first to take a deep breath and just trust that, you know, believe in yourself, hard work will pay off and you'll get there. But one thing that I wish someone had told me was that your first job may not be your dream job, and that's okay. And what I mean by that is, it may not be your dream job, but does it get you one step closer to that dream job? Is it helping you acquire a skill set that will get you there in a couple years or in 5 years? My experience is not representative by any means of the API community and certainly not of other BIPOC communities and Black and Brown people. But from my own experience, I think generally speaking, I've been acutely aware of stereotypes and implicit biases that there may be against women who look like me. I'm thinking about the model minority myth, right? And the stereotypes that come with that about the AAPI community, that we're quiet and we're dutiful and we work hard, but may not necessarily reach that super high place of leadership. And those are things that I felt growing up, to be completely honest, in certain situations in high school and college, in early parts of my career. And I think just meeting people who, within my own community, who were strong and were women that I admired and aspired to be was really empowering. I will also say that finding allies has been really empowering. And I've also learned how to be a better ally, the best ally I can be to other communities. But look, it's challenging. I have one story that I hope it's okay I share this, but this is not at Athleta or Gap Inc. This is in a past life. But there was an executive who called me Emily, which is not my name. It's the name of another Asian girl who was in a completely different department. So I don't know how that got mixed up. But I remember, first of all, there's the discomfort that comes with correcting an executive about your name, right? Actually, my name is Caley. And then there's the racial undertones of that. Like, okay, are you calling me Emily because she's the only other Asian American in the office? And by the way, I'm actually Hapa, I'm half, so we don't even look alike. So anyway, there's more to unpack there, but I tell that story because I remember it stung. And I remember feeling deflated by it. But put that aside, and for every moment like that, there has been an empowering moment. The biggest piece of advice I can give is just to show up as your authentic self as much as you can at work. I know it can be hard. I myself am fortunate and privileged in that I don't feel like I need to code switch a ton at work, but I know that a lot of people do, and that can be really difficult. But find communities and spaces within the workplace and within the industry where you can feel like you can show up as your authentic self, even if you can't always feel like that every day at work. I've found a lot of joy and belonging in the equality and belonging groups at Gap Inc. So I'm a part of API, which is the Asians and Pacific Islander group. I recently joined the Color Proud Council team, which has been just so impactful in my life. And for every tough moment, there's a good one too. And it can be heavy, but having someone in the boat with you, I've found can really, really help. Welcome to the Fashion Playbook, and this is my little insider tip about social. If you want to break into social and you're looking for that first job, no, you don't need to be a social media star. And what I mean by that is, great if you happen to love TikTok and create TikToks or YouTube videos, but if you don't, that's okay. You can still be a great social media marketer without being an influencer yourself. I myself am not the most prolific poster on my personal accounts, but I follow about 2,000 accounts between brands, influencers, and celebrities, and that's how I really stay